Hey guys, this is Chris from mixdown.online. I hope you're doing good. Today what I want to talk to you about is how to organize and save your projects in Cubase or any other DAW. So this is something we don't talk a lot about, but it's very important. This is going to save you a lot of trouble and a lot of headaches if you take the habit of doing the tips I'm going to show you. So first, let's open a new project. Let's just use a template and save that into my folder. So now let's say I'm starting to work on a new production for a client. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to open my Cubase project for sure, and then save the project to the song title. So I usually use the song title as the name to save the file. So just for the example here, I'm just going to write song title. So since I'm starting on working on the pre-production stage, I am just going to add pre-prod to the end of the file name. So I know I am working on the pre-prod. So now the most important thing is to save your file as much as you can while you're working on the project. And on top of that, what I do is I always do a save as. So for example, I have my song title. And there you go. I'm just going to save as actually song title, not son title. So now I am going to save that as -01. So I always take the habit on saving files to a different name every 10 to 15 minutes, just in case something happens to the file itself, gets corrupt or so. And that happened to me a lot in the past. And you want to avoid losing a lot of work. So if you're only having that same unique file you're working on and you've been working for hours, saving on the same file, and for any reason that file gets corrupt and Cubase cannot open the file anymore, you're stuck, you know, you just lost your work. And just to avoid that, take the habit on saving the file on a different name. And so if you want to do this quickly, you can just use the keyboard shortcut, and Cubase is going to save the file to a different name for you. So for example, if I click on Command plus Option and S, you see now it's song title pre-prod 02. If I do that again, it's pre-prod 03. So that saves me a lot of time. I don't need to go back into file and save as, just use the shortcut and do that every 10 to 15 minutes. Now, once I'm over with the pre-prod and I'm going to the next stage, the recording stage, I save as and I just replace pre-prod by recording. There you go. And I click on save, and I do the same every 10 to 15 minutes. I click on my shortcut and I save as to a different name. Okay, as much as I can. It doesn't matter if you have like 20 saves, you know, on the same file. It doesn't matter because these files are not heavy on your hard drive. They don't take a lot of space. Actually, they hardly take space on your hard drive. So you can save as much as you want. Now, on the mixing stage now, I do the same thing, but there's something very different here. I start by writing mix 1. Okay, so when I'm working on my first version of the mix, I use the song title again and mix 1. So now I know that I'm working on the first version of the mix. And again, every 10 to 15 minutes, I shortcut this to save as to a different name, but still keeping the mix 1 file name. So now when I'm ready to bounce my mix to for the client to listen to, I just bounce it as the song title and mix 1. So and this is for the client or for myself to listen to the mix, the first version of the mix. And then when you get to work on your first revision, you just click on you rename the file again, but to mix 2 instead. And now you're working on the second version of the mix. And you again, you know, save as you go. And then you can bounce that to mix 2 and send that to your client or to yourself. And there you go, you have your second version of the mix. You can evaluate and then do some more touch-ups if you need to. And if you need to, you just do the same and you rename that as Mix 3. And so on. So this way, if for example your client is listening to the third version of the mix and then gets back to you and says, you know, the second mix was way better and I think we should go with this one. Very simple. You just close that window, you go back into your session and you look for mix 2, and this is the last version of the second mix that I used, and there you go, I have my mix ready to bounce or ready to just do some minor touch-ups and send to mastering. So this is a very good and easy way to keep things in order. So again, save as your stuff, make sure you name your file for the different stages of your production. So if you only mix, that's very simple. You just, you know, song title, mix 1, mix 2, mix 3, and so on. And if you're doing a full production, just take the habit on saving your file as the song title plus the recording phase or production phase you're in at this moment. And the most important of all is to save your entire work. So every time you're done with a session, make sure you do a backup of your work. So there you go, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any comments or even suggestions for future videos, let me know. You can actually leave comments here on the channel or on my website at mixdown.online. Keep in touch and see you next time.